1. SQL. Let's start with the one that's so embedded in the fabric of computing that most people don't even think of it as a programming language. SQL, Structured Query Language, born in the 1970s, over 50 years old. And it's still everywhere. Remember when no SQL was supposed to kill relational databases? Remember that? Yeah, that aged like milk. Because here's the reality. SQL is the language of data. Every time you use an app, check your bank balance, order food, or scroll through social media, there's a SQL query somewhere making that happen. SQL is powering the AI revolution right now.
No.
All that data that AI models need, it's sitting in SQL databases. All those analytics dashboards everyone's obsessed with, SQL queries. So yeah, the 50-year-old language that everyone said would die is now more relevant than ever. 2. JavaScript. Now I know what you're thinking. JavaScript? That's not old. That's everywhere. And you're right. But here's the thing. JavaScript has been dying since 2015. Every year there's a new hotness. TypeScript, Rust compiled to WASM, Dart, Flutter, and every year JavaScript shrugs and keeps running the vast majority of the internet. It's not just front-end anymore. Node.js made it a back-end language. React Native made it mobile. Electron made it desktop. The language was built in 10 days in 1995. But you know what? It works. It ships. And in an industry that loves to chase the new shiny thing, JavaScript just sits there in the corner, powering the entire web, while everyone argues about which framework is better this week. 3. Java, born in 1995, and still the #1 enterprise backend language on the planet. Nearly 3 decades in, Java consistently ranks near the top in developer usage worldwide. And here's the insane part. A significant chunk of developers are still using Java versions from the late 2000s. Why? Because big companies don't rewrite things that work. Banks, insurance companies, government systems, they're running on Java, and they'll keep running on Java until the heat death of the universe. Java is the language that never needed to be cool. It was born into the enterprise, and it never left. It's reliable, it's predictable, and in the enterprise world, boring is the highest compliment you can give. You want to know how many jobs require Java? Millions. You want to know how many of those jobs are paying 6 figures? A lot. You want to know how many of those jobs are going away anytime soon? Fuck no. 4. C++. Now, we talked about C in the first video, but C++ deserves its own spotlight because C++ is what happens when you take C and add enough features to make it both more powerful and more terrifying. Born in 1985, 40 years old. And it's still everywhere. Here's where C++ is found. Trading systems, embedded systems, self-driving cars, medical devices, aerospace. Anything where performance matters and failure isn't an option. Like when NASA sends a rocket to Mars, the code is probably C++. And here's why it refuses to die. Because some problems can't be solved with garbage collection or interpreted code. Sometimes you need to control every byte of memory. Sometimes you need to squeeze every ounce of performance out of the hardware. And when you need that, C++ is the only game in town. 5. Bash. The one that's so ubiquitous that most developers don't even think of it as a programming language. Born in 1989, every Linux and Mac OS system runs it. Every Docker container starts with a bash command. Every CI pipeline is secretly bash in a trench coat. Bash is the Latin of programming. Dead, supposedly, yet somehow the foundation of everything we build. Bash survives because it's the path of least resistance. Need to run a script? Bash. Need to deploy something? Bash. Need to glue together a dozen different tools? Bash. It's the universal adapter of the programming world. And you know what's funny? Bash scripts from 2006 run just fine on modern systems. That's backwards compatibility that would make Microsoft jealous. Wait. Bash refuses to die because it's the language of system administration, and as long as there are servers, there will be Bash. 6. Perl. The language that was written off as dead a decade ago. The language that everyone said was replaced by Python. Perl, which dates back to 1987, was once a top language. Then it fell and fell and fell, and then somehow it started climbing back up. Nobody's entirely sure why. One theory is that Perl books are still selling like crazy. People are still learning it, still using it, still maintaining the massive code bases that were built in the 90s and 2000s. It runs on everything, from portable devices to mainframes. It's suitable for both rapid prototyping and large-scale development. Perl refuses to die because it's the duct tape of programming languages. It's not pretty, it's not modern, but when you need to stick two things together and make them work, Perl is there, and it's not going anywhere.